Welcome back to another episode of Hoot and Poop. So I hope you enjoy my previous video where I touched on the first four character of the first four management of Arqit. Okay, so in today's video, I will continue to talk about the management of Arqit. And as a disclaimer, I am a shareholder of Arqit. Okay, so my views are biased and this is not any recommendation to buy or sell. Right, my sharings are purely for educational purposes. Okay, and with that, we'll move into the presentation. Now, just a full recap, on the overview, these are the so-called the management of Arqit. So I have covered both David Williams and David Bestwick, who are the founder. I've also covered on Nick Poynton as well as Rocky Rochelle. So today's video, I will be talking about Dr. Daniel Shiu, who is the chief cryptographer of Arqit. Dr. Geoffrey Taylor, who is also the co-founder and also the advisor of Arqit. Daryl Burns, who is the inventor and consultant of Arqit. And the last person I'll be talking about is Dr. Taher Elgamal, who is also another director in Arqit as well. Okay, so before I move on, I want to introduce to you this organization in the UK, which is known as GCHQ, a short form for Government Communications Headquarters. So what GCHQ is all about is that they are UK's intelligence, security, and cyber agency. Okay, another finding that I have from Wikipedia is that it is involved in some intelligence and security organization that is responsible for providing signal intelligence and information assurance to the government and armed forces of the United Kingdom. So in summary, the GCHQ is responsible for the security, all right, intel security for UK. All right, so this is what it is for GCHQ. Okay, so I'm giving you guys the background because this will help me to explain in the video later. Okay, so moving on to the first person that I'm going to talk about today is Dr. Daniel Shiu, who is the chief cryptographer of Arqit. Now, previously, he was the head of National Technical Authority for Cryptographic Design and Quantum Information Processing at GCHQ. So this is why I have to touch on GCHQ before that. So GCHQ, as I mentioned, is a UK Intel Security and Cyber Agency. All right, so Dr. Daniel, he previously was the head of the National Technical Authority, where they are involved in cryptography and quantum processing. Okay, so these are key relevant information that I'm finding. And he has 25 years of experience in terms of crypto mathematician. Okay, so this tells me, that this guy, he has a lot of relevant knowledge in both quantum as well as cryptography, and which is why him being the chief cryptographer for Arqit makes sense to me. So in my opinion, is that 25 years in cryptography space proves that he has relevant experience, and working in GCHQ as a head, right, in quantum realm does give him very relevant experience to lead Arqit. Okay, so this is Dr. Daniel Shiu. The second person is Dr. Geoffrey Taylor, who is also another co-founder of Arqit. So he as well has spent 43 years in GCHQ, okay, as well as 22 years as the board in GCHQ. He has a PhD in quantum molecular dynamics. I can't really find much information about him, not in LinkedIn, because probably he has spent his whole life in GCHQ and there's no need for him to update LinkedIn. So this is how my view. So I try my best to dig, that's what I can. And perhaps the only thing that's relevant to Arqit is more of like he has a PhD in quantum molecular dynamics. So in terms of the science, right, Dr. Geoffrey Taylor will definitely have the relevant knowledge for Arqit. But in terms of the business-wise, I can't find much information. The third person I want to talk about is this guy called Daryl Burns. Right, it's quite a long thing, so let me just try to break it down for you. He has spent 34 years in GCHQ. Okay, during the time, he used to be the Chief of Research and Innovation and the Deputy Chief Scientific Advisor for National Security. So, based on this, it tells me that he is also involved in national security or the crypto I wouldn't say cryptographer security, but basically he is involved in the national security realm. He, where in the third sentence, dig out is that he is an expert in cryptographer as well as cyber security, and currently he is also an executive advisor at Trump Stand, which deals with identity solutions in the form of biometric. And he's also an executive advisor at a Munich-based company called IDEE, which is a cybersecurity vendor. So these links I'm not be going through, but I will be uploading them in the comment below. Now, this tells me one thing. Number one, him having so much experience in GCHQ, and he was, like, for example, a chief of research and innovation, as well as the deputy chief of science advisor for national security. He definitely knows what national security entails. Okay, so the security part, I am pretty sure he has a lot of relevant experience. Next, the second thing is that he is an expert in cryptographer and cybersecurity. So this tells me that he has a very, very relevant so-called linking with Arqit. And the two things that I want to highlight, especially for him, is that he is, or rather he is an executive advisor for both Trust Stamp as well as IDEE. So meaning to say, if I think about it, these two companies that he's on board with deals with security solutions management. So if I ask myself, him being the executive advisor for these two companies, as well as part of the board, or rather the inventor for Arqit, could he open up more doors for Arqit to provide a comprehensive solutions to both Trust Stamp as well as IDEE? Personally, I think there is a very high chance for the future collaborations. In fact, even if there isn't any future collaborations, it could be maybe Trust them or IDE engaging them and stuff, or at least he is able to share relevant information to Arqit as well. So if I look at it, right, this gives me a very good cohesive relationship that Daryl Burns can bring to Arqit. Okay, now then the last guy, which is in my opinion the most important person, the key personnel for Arqit, is Dr. Taher Elgamal. So he is recognized as the father of SSL, which helped in establishing a private and secure communications on the internet that we are currently using. He has also invented several industry and government standards in data security and digital signatures for areas, including the DSS government standard for digital signatures. So this guy, he has vast amount of knowledge and experience. And being the father of SSL, he definitely knows what are the limitations SSL brings. And his involvement in Arqit will definitely brings in the edge towards a lot of other competitors, if there are any. Okay, now take note, because Arqit is tapping onto quantum encryption, which is way better than whatever current encryptions that we have at this moment. So him knowing what is the current procedure, current technology, knowing their limitations, bringing it into Arqit, which is touching on quantum encryption, right? He will definitely bring elements of knowledge that makes Arqit superior compared to the current encryption technology. And do note, he also founded this thing called the ARQ19 protocol that enable Arqit QKD to be global and trustless. If you recall my previous video, I said before that for quantum encryption, the downside is that it is not global because there is a limitations in terms of the range. But with Arqit's protocol, or rather with Arqit's patents technology, okay, they are able to go global and trustless. Okay, so meaning to say this ARQ19 protocol will enable Arqit to have an edge towards the competitors and being the best technology that we can ever have. So take note that this guy is the key person, and we have to monitor, of course, whatever I'm saying now, it's all whatever I found online, and we have to monitor in terms of the operation. But if everything is true, meaning to say ARQ19 is true, that means we are in for a ride for what Arqit can give to us. And Dr. Taher Elgamal is the key person that we have to look into it. Okay, so I hope you have a better understanding of all the management, because I've covered 8 of them to now, and in my next video I will be covering the remaining of them. Okay, so I hope that the reason why I wanted to do this video to let you guys understand and appreciate when we look at management of the company. Right, I also tend to look at who are the board of directors and so on, because the reason is that I try my best to see whether those board as well as the management, do they have any synergy with what the company is doing about, or are they sitting up there just for figurehead? Okay, but based on what I'm seeing now, okay, from Arqit's management, all 8 of them do have relevant experience and information that they can contribute to Arqit in some ways or another. So this gives me a very, very good positive feeling about Arqit. Okay, so with that, okay, I really hope that this video gives you some new knowledge, and I do appreciate a like and subscribe if this benefits you. And with that, I'll see you in my next video. Invest safe.